This adventure does not go as planned. And as you're gonna see, I'm gonna ask too much of my vehicle, I'm gonna ask too much of my friends, but with the right attitude, the right gear, and the right people around you, you could turn a situation as difficult as this one into a memory that you'll enjoy forever. Everything cool back there, Ed?
And Nate just had to back up and go forward again. Now I'm going to try to pin the spot. Had some slipping on Tim.
Yeah, tell me the backtrack.
Snow and rock crawling are my two favorite types of terrain. And rock crawling, because of the technical standpoint, you have to really think about your route. You have to really understand the limitations of your vehicle. You've got to wheel it in a way that's hard enough to get through the trail, but soft enough to keep all the parts together. But snow is amazing because it makes you feel alive. Whenever you're on a normal flat dirt road, but it's got huge snowbanks and you're fighting for traction all the way up the hill, it gets your heart going. And I think that in the back of my mind, I know that there are real consequences here if we become stranded or we break down. I know that for a lot of people, this doesn't exactly make sense or might not even be that relatable. But for me, going out with my friends, taking risks, seeing new places is a reason to get up in the morning.
All right, you guys saw that. So we've got good powder. Like, this is really good stuff. But underneath it, as soon as you get to any of the hard pack, it's frozen. It's been cold up here and for a while. Now, I'm gonna try to guide Tim through and we'll see if I've really messed up the road here from having my ass end slide behind the front end. Let me set you up here and you can hang out with us.
Somehow I was able to talk 3 friends into coming up here with me and camping for the weekend. So not only are we fighting every day to wheel through deep snow, but we're gonna live in it. We're gonna stay in it. We're gonna cook in it. We're gonna go to the bathroom in it. This is where we are going to live for the whole weekend. And Ed, Tim, Nick, and myself don't fully grasp yet what we're in for this weekend.
I haven't introduced you guys to my friend Nick. He's got this sweet old right-hand drive Delica. I've always called it like a Delicia or something. Anyway, here he comes. This thing is such a beast. I love it. Let me get out of his way. Oh, it pays to be light. Look at that, no problem. So the key out here, for those of you that are not familiar with snow, once you get a really nice consistent set of tracks down, it makes it easier on everybody else. And Nick just like straightened this whole thing out for Ed. So Ed should be doing just fine. Let's get out of his way.
One of the challenges that snow has to offer whenever you go snow wheeling is the fact that it's always changing. If the sun comes out for a little bit and glazes that top surface and then it refreezes, that's completely different than fresh powder being dumped out of the sky. And also, you know, the depth changes every day and there's so many different variables that it'll change how much tire pressure I use. And in the past few trips, I've gotten really good luck with about 5 or 6 PSI in my tires, but for this trip, it just wasn't enough flotation. Basically, at 5 or 6 psi, I would get decent flotation, but whenever it dug down, I would just dig down to ice. So I needed to maximize my flotation, which is why part of the way up the mountain, I aired down to 2 rear, 3 front, and this gave me a lot better results and made it a lot less prone to getting stuck if I didn't drive absolutely perfect. So there's a little bit more forgiveness built in with this tire pressure. And after a few hours of fighting our way up the hill, we finally found a big flat spot that's perfect for camp. I just needed to level out that top surface so the other guys could get up here with me. And then tomorrow morning, we're gonna reassess what the snow looks like and decide what we're gonna do with the rest of the weekend.
Good morning. It was cold last night, but have you ever used one of these diesel heater things? Works pretty amazing. We usually just do the heated blanket thing, which I do have under here, but I didn't even need to turn it on. There's a, I'll show you in a minute. I got this super cheap Amazon diesel heater, and it is a little finicky, but I got it to run all night last night, and holy cow, what a difference in temperature. You can see it's not a huge tent or anything, but I turned that diesel heater like all the way down and it's still running. It's still got hot air coming out, which is amazing because it's like the inside of the tent is completely dry. I was able to hang my my pants last night from the top and they're bone dry now. Everything's ready to go and it looks like it's pretty clear. So I'm gonna get out, I'll show you the diesel heater, and then we're gonna cook a little breakfast.
Diesel heater is just a heat exchanger. So we're not breathing in any diesel fumes. All of that is exhausted outside of the tent into ambient air. And it just basically pushes cold air over a hot element and then blows hot, fresh air into your tent. Super simple. These are Chinese diesel heaters. They're like 130 bucks. And when they work, they're great, but the reliability is absolutely awful. So it's not something I would definitely, depend on for like living. Now that the sun is up, we've got this beautiful, clear day. We're gonna take our time making some breakfast. We're gonna have some good conversations. And I'd like to walk you through my friend Nick's van. I just love builds like this. It's completely outside of the box here in the United States. And I'm so inspired to maybe build one myself one day.
So this is a 1991 Mitsubishi Delica. It's got a 4-inch lift and it's on 33-inch tires. It's got an upgraded injector pump and the bigger turbo. It's intercooled.
About how much power are you thinking?
At least 90 horsepower at this point, with thousands of dollars of mods. Built the bumpers. Nobody makes any bumpers for these, so kind of had to do it myself. It's sort of my first major fab project. Future mods, want to put a front locker on, skid plates, and build out the interior a little more, organize things. Owning this thing has been great. It's been reliable. It does take a lot of work. Maintenance, but it's a blast. I wouldn't trade it for anything.
What about a 2021 Toyota Tacoma? You said it wouldn't trade it for anything. I was like, well, I'm just going to throw an offer out there.
You want to trade me for the Tacoma? I've got a backup van. Yeah. I can build that out. I know what I'm doing now. That's the nice thing about learning how to do things is I could probably replicate it to some degree. So
more skills you can use on the next build.
That's why learning fabrication is so interesting to me. It's like, yeah, if this thing rusts out, I can build another one.
Yeah, I'm fishtailing a little bit in rear-wheel drive. I might throw it in 4. All right, boys, welcome to Idaho.
Went up, downtown.
Oh, yeah, that'll be fun.
Went up, downtown. Went up, downtown. I want to save my soul.
Today the snow is deceiving, actually a lot like last night. We've got 6 or 8 inches of fresh powder, it's great snow. There's tons of traction, but I wish it was a little bit deeper. If it was deeper, we would get better traction. You almost immediately sink through the powder, you get to what is basically just a big block of ice, and then you just spin. So it's gonna be hard work today, but we're gonna try to get to the top of the mountain that's right next to us. When I can, I like to drive through from one area to another area. I hate turning around, but we'll see what the elements will allow us to do today.
This is the good stuff. This is exactly what we were looking to find. Struggle bus city. We're plowing snow uphill. But unfortunately, it's making the day drag on a little bit. And Tim here, the local Idahoan, is that what you guys identify as?
That's what we are, yeah.
He's got to go back home. So dude, thank you so much for coming up with us.
It's always a great time.
Now Nick, Ed, we good to try to punch through?
Let's do it. Yeah.
Let's do it. All right, boys.
Teamwork.
No, you're leaving.
This is one of the very few times you will hear me say chains would have helped. The vast majority of the time when you were snow wheeling, if it's deep, you will not get any benefit out of chains. It's just gonna make you dig, you're gonna sink to your axles, and then you're not gonna have a good time. But if you can air way down and you can float on top of the deep stuff, you're gonna enjoy yourself a lot better. But in this instance, we just don't have enough snow. We keep breaking down to the deep, icy stuff where chains would absolutely bite. They would absolutely help, especially when you're trying to break trail up a hill. We have all this clearance, but the clearance isn't holding us back in any way. It's definitely just tire biting into the ice. Now that said, these tires are biting really, really well. Remember, I'm breaking trail going uphill, and I'm doing it with a mud terrain. So I think that the grooves that we added to these tires made a huge difference. But at the end of the day, there's a better method, and that method would have been chains.
Ready when you are. Hold on one sec.
Since I was breaking trail, I would spend, 20 minutes or so just plowing as far as I could get up this hill. And then I would hear a bunch of chatter on the radio where somebody in my group was stuck. And so I would back down the hill. I'd help them, make sure that we're all together. And then I would shoot back up this hill. I'd try to break as much trail as I could again until the exact same thing happened again. And what's frustrating is that we're so close to the top of this thing, which is why I decided to lead out so much farther away from all of my friends. I just wanted to get to the top and see if it's practical for the other vehicles in our group to make it. Onyx showed that we only had like 200 more feet of elevation, but then the weather came in and it was a disaster.
Nick, what's the status report?
Well, Ed's stuck, and we're gonna head down and try to yank him out with the van.
Yank him out with the van, I love it. Are we gonna hear some Terpsky spooling?
Yeah, I think it'll need a little juice to get him up.
Okay, your traction boards are up there already.
Your traction control seems to be working good. Both front tires were going back and forth.
Yeah.
That's cool. You just need a little tug.
I think so, man.
Ed's Ram is so heavy, and it was just a smart idea to attempt to go up the track and up this little hill without Ed attached to the van. And almost immediately we could see that not only did the van not have the juice required to do such a thing, but it also didn't quite have the traction required. So I had to back down. I pulled the van as far up the hill as I could get him. Then I went back down to hook to Ed. I was just gonna flip around and do a loop. And then this is where I got stuck.
It is a day of stuck. We just got Ed unstuck. Now, I was coming down to rescue Ed, and I was gonna, if I don't know if you could see, but I have tracks coming this way where I stopped and backed up. I was just gonna loop around and then go save Ed. And you can see I ran out of talent right about there. So that's cool. Anyway, we're gonna try to get me out of Max Tracks. If we can't do it with Max Tracks, we're gonna have to hook Ed up, but we know there's a liability with trying because it's so soft up there. So we'll see what happens.
We gave it our best effort with self-recovery. There's not a good spot in front of me to hook a winch to, so we wanted to back up with the Max Tracks, but I am very high-centered, so we were at a point where I'm gonna have to lean on a buddy. I'm gonna ask Ed, can you pull me out? And of course he said, hell yeah.
Hey Ed.
Yo.
How about one of these? Yeah, pound it.
Let's do this.
Thanks for, I don't know. I'm just glad that I brought two people that have great attitudes.
This is what it's all about, man.
This is what it's all about.
It would be boring without this kind of stuff.
Exactly.
Although it is beautiful out here.
Dude, I mean, the cold's running in, but, and I think we're gonna be finding camp around here tonight.
I think so.
But man, you're not wrong. It is absolutely gorgeous. And we haven't seen another soul all day.
No, and no matter where we camp around here, it's gonna be beautiful.
Heck yeah. Yeah. It's 3 o'clock. Well, it's like 3:15, 3:20, something like that. Dude, that beard is epic. Oh my God.
I'm just gonna let it keep going.
Dude, get up in on that, jeez. So, I would like to at least see how much farther is to the top. On Onyx, it's not that far. I know that if I don't have to pull you guys, I can make it to the top relatively quickly. I kind of want to, how do you guys feel about me doing a scout up to the top to see how far it is?
Sure.
And if I get stuck on the way up or whatever and I have to like turn around, then we just go camp at our camp last night.
Okay.
I mean, what do you guys think? Or is there an option C that I'm not thinking of? I mean, we could find another camp, but I mean, we all know that like a quarter mile that way is where we started.
Yeah, so I know for a fact further up on the road, I'll get high-centered again on that little rut.
Yeah.
So
I'd at least have to pull you through that.
exactly.
Not the end of the world.
Yeah.
Why don't we do this? I'll hook to you. I'll pull you through that. So at least we're all in the spot where the snow gets low.
Okay.
And then I'll just try to bomb up and see, because if we're only at like 1,000 feet away, I would love to just camp up on top.
Okay.
Does that sound reasonable?
Yeah.
What would you do? Would you go up and explore? The explorer gene in me wants to go explore, but the cold gene is making me want to go find camp because the as you can tell behind me, the weather moved in.
Yeah.
And you can tell by his beard thermometer, it's getting cold out here. I think I'm gonna bomb up there and just see if we find anything.
Due to the very extreme temperature swing that we saw today and the big change in wind and the fact that the sun's going down, I just did not have the same ability to climb this hill that I did earlier in the day. I know that there's only another couple inches of snow. It's not like it's that crazy, but something has changed drastically and it's made it to where it is a complete dogfight just to make a few feet. And after one small error when I was backing up, I got off course just a little bit, and no matter what I did, I could not recover. So I made one mistake that ended up costing me the ability to make it all the way up to the top of this hill. But silver linings. This means that I've got an excuse to come back. I'm just gonna get unstuck, get turned around, grab my friends, and we're gonna go down and find camp. But the most important part of that entire step is just to simply get unstuck.
What are you guys doing up there? Did you guys need any help?
Well, we were making great time for a second there, and then we got off course just slightly, and now we're like, just, if I go forward or backwards, I'm sliding down. So we're hooking up a winch. We're gonna winch my nose over, try to get me turned around with a couple different winch pulls, and then we're gonna come back down to you and go set up camp, probably where we camped last night.
Well, I don't think we're going out that way. It's actually frozen in there. I give myself enough room to use my door.
The way this cold wind moved in completely transformed our experience. And I mean, when it's already like 21 degrees, and then you throw some wind that's full of ice just cutting right through all your clothes, and it makes you want to go find camp pretty fast. So after turning around, I got down to Nick's van and then got down to Ed's truck, and of course, some more stuck, pull out type of game stuff that we've been playing all day. And then Ed lost 2 beads on his wheels, which was just, it just couldn't have came at a worse time. We were at peak coldness and tiredness from the day. So we got it to camp. We filled up his tires. We replaced the one that was completely off the bead with the spare, and we basically didn't even eat dinner. I had chips and salsa for dinner. I was exhausted. It was time for bed.
Good morning, Ed.
What's up, Nate?
How about that wind last night?
Yeah, man.
It was scary.
I felt like it sounded like someone was throwing snowballs against my tent, right?
Dang it. Dude, we got a lot of snow last night.
Dude.
I gotta thaw out my snow boots because I'm just wearing hiking shoes.
Holy smokes, man.
Woo!
Ready to get going?
Dude, I'm very ready to get going.
Yeah, brother.
We got a trek.
Let's do it.
It's the end of our trip, and I'm like 7-ish hours from home, and Ed's even more than that. He's like 9 hours, and we want to get on the road. So we decided last night that we were going to get up really early. We were going to have just like bare minimum camp set up to where we could tear everything down quickly, and we knew that it was going to be kind of a dogfight to get down the mountain. I was budgeting about an hour to get down the mountain, because usually going downhill is easier, but I was concerned because we've had a lot of weather since when we got up here.
Ed is stuck in a place you do not want to be stuck. The snow level has changed dramatically since we got here, which we knew was going to happen. But I mean, you can see the visibility is low. It's not big flakes. It's all small, but it's a ton of small flakes. The good thing is we're going downhill. So hopefully he can get free with just some traction board action. Let's go see.
All right, should we loosen it up a little bit? Looks like we're forward a couple of feet.
Not the funnest place we've been stuck. We were leaving early so we could all get home early. You see how that turned out.
This is where things got very interesting for me, because we were able to get Ed unstuck, of course. He used the traction boards, zipped himself right out, and then we went down a ways, and there was another section where there wasn't any tree cover and huge snow drifts, and Ed got high-centered again. So we winched him to me, and while I was pressed on the brakes, I had a complete brake failure.
Brake alarm.
During Ultimate Adventure, I didn't get to film it, but I had the passenger side wheel cylinder fail at the very end of Ultimate Adventure. And what do you know? We've got brake fluid everywhere.
You know, it's really cool that this is an easy system to bleed, because Toyota set these up to where, like, once it senses that you've got it open and the truck's running, it'll automatically pump the fluid to bleed it. But if you have a wheel cylinder fail, it just dumps all of your fluid all in one shot. So I've got no brake fluid, and I'm the anchor point for Ed. And as you can see, Ed's not doing great. I want to continue filming, but we've just got too much stuff failing here. I am going to, we're going to try to figure out how to get out of here, and then I'm going to film at the end and let you guys know what happened.
First off, we're alive, as I'm sure you can imagine. I just pinched off that brake line, I filled up the brake fluid reservoir, and we were able to limp it back down to civilization. Aired up, I think there was a fallen tree somewhere along the way, and then eventually we made our way to Napa so I could get the parts that I needed in order to repair my truck and drive all the way back to the other side of the state.
Mr. Ed, Mr. Nick, thank you so much, guys. This was awesome. It was fun to do it in another state for a change. Next time, I think we're going to see Ed on 39s on his JL.
Fingers crossed.
It'll be a different story for sure, but it was still, man, that was fun up there. I got extreme for a minute there.
Yeah, man, it was crazy.
So now we're here at Napa. I'm gonna grab some different things to repair my brake system again on the Taco, and then I've got about 5 or 6 hours to head home. So we will see you guys on the next one.
Every single trip that I'm on, including this one, is planned with Onyx software. And if that is something that you're interested in, make sure you use coupon code DIRTLifestyle at checkout for an additional 20% off. Thank you, Onyx, for sponsoring the video, and thank you at home for watching.